the thing that happened, it was very excited because I got a contract with the Padres. I still with the Padres, and they called me and asked permission. So I was shocked, and then surprised and happy that it happened. I interviewed, got the job, and very excited because they thought of me of being the head hitting coach and wanted me to run the hitting program. So you know the way I see it is I cannot do this job by myself. You need help. You need good people around you, people that you trust, people that speak the same language, people that have the same goals. And
Hmm.
I think that's what they put together, a group of Anthony LaPose, Dan Hennigan, uh, people that will complement me and help me, guide these guys in the right direction so we can win more games, between analytics and different personality, different way of doing things. And at the end of the day is, you know, be together, gather information, get players prepared to win ball games. And they put together a group that I believe is gonna come in every day, and they're gonna put the time and effort to get players prepared the best we can to win ball games.
Yeah, the Astros have built a reputation on winning those ball games, and they've done it through very good offense. You said that you watch the Astros. Obviously, you're dedicated to keeping your eye on a lot of teams that you're playing against. One of the issues that the Astros of 2025 had was is they had guys. Obviously, they weren't 100% healthy, but the issue wasn't getting guys on base. The issue was driving those runners in. If you could maybe give us a little insight on on your idea of how to prepare hitters for hitting with runners in scoring position, and maybe a little philosophy on with a runner at third base less than two outs, because that was one weakness where the Astros really struggled, was driving runners in with runners in scoring position. I believe they hit 245 last season, but there were a lot of runners left on base.
I think from what I learned watching our teams play and teams that really have success doing those things, driving in runs, you know, uh, I learned that a team that wins and make the playoff and win World Series are teams that know how to score one run, not 10. One run. How is that? It's by knowing the game, is by knowing the situation of the game, by executing the game. And I think that's something that I'm not gonna tell the guys. I'm gonna remind them because they done it. They done it in the past. They done it. That's the reason they won. They won World Series. I'm talking a few years ago. They won World Series, and I was in the other dugout watching these guys play the game, executing the game, and commitment of doing things to score that run. And that's mostly what I bring. I didn't read about it. I saw players and I saw teams doing it, and the Astros were one of the teams that I saw doing it, and that's the reason they are who they are. The last decade, they they've been one of the best team in the major league.
I love it. You've got the experience, and obviously, a lot of the guys that you've worked with will help the current Astros go out there. Only a couple more questions. Again, we're talking to the new hitting coach for the Astros, Victor Rodriguez. My name is Geoff Blum on Space City Home Network, and this is AstroLine in the offseason. A couple more questions for Victor. I appreciate you taking the time. Are there any ties to the current manager, Joe Espada? How did you get on their radar? Was it previous knowledge, or were you just that good?
Well, 2003, I was his hitting coach, winter ball.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was a young team. It was young players like that, Dier Molina, Joel Para, Justin Morneau, Ryan Restovich. So they were young kids playing winter ball in Puerto Rico. That's how I met Espada. And then through the years, we crossed paths many times with the Yankees, with the Astros. So we always talk, we always say hello and stuff like that. So I know a few years ago he was in the process of being a manager for the baseball classic, and then they ended up giving it to Javier Molina, and we talk about the chances to be in the Puerto Rican team, and but overall, I think baseball, and we cross paths everywhere, different places, and but like you said, when you're in the game for a long time, you meet a lot of people. I'm going for my 50th year in professional baseball next year. So in 50 years, you either play with them, coach them. Like for example, Gavin Sheets was the son of one of my teammates, Larry Sheets. You
There
know,
you go.
played in Bluefield in 1978. And Gavin Sheets was one of my players last year. So, you meet a lot of people. Jeronimo Peña, I was with the Cardinals back in I don't know how long, and he was a young kid, and is Jeremy Peña's father. So you get to know a lot of people and meet a lot of people and learn from a lot of people. So I'm very excited for the opportunity of being in the game.
That's outstanding, man. That goes back a long way. Congratulations on being in the game that long. That's not easy to do. I'm excited to meet you in spring training, and I've just got one more thing to say before we finish this conversation with Victor Rodriguez. How many times have you been in a cage or in a game situation, and a hitter's come back and question what you said, and you lean back and you said, "Hey, man, what's your career batting average in the big leagues?" Because your career batting average is 429, I think, or something crazy.
That's
That's
good.
pretty good. You could sit back and go, "Hey, listen to me. I hit over 400 in the show."
I'm glad they never come to me and say something like that. I, and I respect major leaguers just because it's not that easy to play in the major league.
Amen.
You get a chance to play in the major league. I played in the major league for a couple of days, and it was one of the biggest thrill of my career. And I watched these guys play 5, 7, 10 years in the major league. How excited and how special are for those kind of players that play in the major league for that long. They have to be special, and I have a lot of respect for players, major league players, because of what they done and how they did it to spend so many years in the major league, and I think that's what I appreciate a lot, the opportunity to work with players that are good and they are special, and get them to trust me and believe in whatever I tell them.
That's outstanding. We really appreciate you coming on again. Victor Rodriguez, the new hitting coach for the Astros moving into the 2026 season. Really appreciate you coming on, Victor. It's great to meet you virtually, and I can't wait to shake your hand and see what you're able to do with this ball club this year.
No, very excited, very excited. It's a great team, and I've been lucky to be with good teams. The Red Sox, the Indians, the Padres, and now the Astros. Who don't want to be the hitting coach of the Houston Astros? You know, and I get a chance to do that. So I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna try to guide them the best I can so they can win ball games, win playoff, and win the World Series.
Absolutely. That's the ultimate goal. I'm Geoff Blum. That was Victor Rodriguez. We'll be talking to you soon. Thanks.